Hi guys, my name is Harshad Goela and I'm an investor, trainer and mentor in stock markets. And today I'm going to be talking about the 1992 scam, the Harshad Mehta Story, the web series that is available on Sony Live. And today I'm going to talk about that. What can we learn from that as investors, purely as investors and traders? What I saw in the past and what can I learn from it today and apply it in today's stock market? Cool. Now again, I'm not reviewing the series. I'm not a movie critic. I'm not a web series critic. I don't know how people acted. I don't know how the sets design were. I'm not an expert in that. So I'm not talking about that. And I'm also not talking what happened in that period because YouTube में बहुत content available and I'm sure you must have seen what had happened and how was the entire manipulation, what were the loopholes in the system back then, and which I feel even a web series did a great job explaining that, right? Because for people who are not in stock markets, I talk to them and I can see that most of them understood clearly what was going on. So kudos to the makers because it's not easy explaining the entire situation back then in a web series to make it even entertaining also. Okay, so let me start with what I learned from that web series and what we can apply today. So I'm going to be comparing the past and the present. The past and the present. Okay, let's start. Point number one, dip into the past. Now, what I really love the fact that it showed BSE, it showed stock markets in early 90s or late 80s, which was fantastic, right? In late 80s, how the market used to be. I remember I had a very distant relative, I still have. I have a very distant relative who used to work in DSE, Delhi Stock Exchange. जब जैसे BSE है Bombay Stock Exchange, then was DSE. DSE got shut down after the 1992 scam. Right? But in DSE, same concept hota tha. There used to be a circle wherein jobbers used to be inside. And that distant relative, he was a jobber. Yes, he was a jobber and he used to tell me that Harsh उस समय क्या होता था, we used to go there, exactly market होता था, जैसी market की bell खुलती थी, we used to fight, it used to be a complete chaos, panic, and again even one communication wrong and the jobber can make a huge mistake and it was all on to him, right? So jobber बनना बहुत difficult काम होता था and I used to keep wondering about the story, I used to hear it and I used to really Google pictures, but ज़्यादा pictures है नहीं उस time की. Then I feel that this web series did that work for me. What I wanted to know what happened, but now I truly wish that if I can time travel, I will time travel to that part in the DSE ring or in the BSE ring. But this web series did that for me. And what I genuinely learned from is that how far we have come. आप सोच रहे हो पहले क्या होता था पहले there used to be a stockbroker, he used to send jobbers inside and they used to give physical certificates and physical share certificates and the physical share certificates to be sold in the behind the share certificates. If you've seen a share certificate, it used to be written the buyer, the seller at this price, and that used to happen. Now look at it. You want to start, you can open a demat account in legit 30 minutes on your computer and you can start trading. How far have we come? Can you just by thinking the history of stock market, that how many investors and traders like you, my friend, like me, have come into the markets and they have done so well, and how the history has turned out to be, it's fantastic. So सबसे पहली चीज़ which I took out from the web series, that how technologically advanced we have become in stock market, which is ट्रूली मुझे इसके बारे में सोचता हूँ ना, बात करते करते मुझे गूज़बम्स आते हैं. हम कितना दूर आ गए हैं, पहले क्या सिचुएशन थी और अब देखो व्हाट इज़ द सिचुएशन. आई बेट इन अर्ली 90s or in late 80s nobody could have even thought that a situation like this would be possible, but it is, and we don't know what technology holds us for the future in stock market. So yeah, that was one thing that I found I really liked. Now the second thing was they showed the actuality of what used to happen in the past. Yes. The second thing is they showed the actuality of what used to happen in the past. Now, a lot of students come to me and a lot of youngsters come to me, right? When I say youngsters, I mean people below the age of, I would say, 25. Below the age of 25, I would call them a youngster. Now, below the age of 25, people come to me and they tell me that, sir, my parents are not agreeing. Sir, मेरे माँ बाप मानते नहीं, पता नहीं क्या problem है, stock market समझते नहीं है वो. And I always used to tell them that it's not their fault. Your parents will always speak the best for you, right? Because they have seen this. So any youngster watching this, trust me, for your parents, stock markets will not be a easy cake to digest. Why is that? Because they have seen the 1992 situation. They have seen it. And yes, when they say that market is a gamble, yeah, they say that only rich people earn in stock market. When they say that market is manipulated, earlier it was true. Because if you see, earlier, let me give you an example, stock broking business used to be the best business. Why? Because earlier, stock brokers used to earn like anything, and they themselves were guilty of manipulations in several occasions. Now that's not the situation. Now if you take stock broking, the stock broking industry is working on such low margins. All of you have demat accounts, and most probably you have a demat account at a discount broker, right? And you can see what they're charging you, and earlier what they used to charge. So there's a huge difference, right? So when your parents are saying that stock market is a gamble or not safe, you need to understand because they are coming from that background. Now another thing is that earlier there used to be massive manipulation in stock markets because earlier there were no regulatory bodies, सबसे पहला, ठीक है? And before that also there were several loopholes because of which people could take the benefit. Now that is not the situation. Now people ask me that, Harsh, are you saying that now there is no manipulation in stock markets? Are you trying to say that? No, my friend. I am saying ऐसी कोई industry नहीं है जहाँ manipulation नहीं होती है. Tell me the name of one industry where there is no manipulation. Tell me, think about it. कोई है ही नहीं. There is no industry on this planet which does not have a manipulator. Why? Because if any player, if any company grows very big, it or he or she, whatever that individual or the organization is, it will end up manipulating. Be it the telecom sector, be it the infrastructure sector, be it the automobile sector, manipulation will happen. That is the rule of economics. You cannot remove that. There can be no industry where you tell me, Harsh, that this industry you have no manipulation. There cannot be any industry. Think about it, right? Same thing in stock markets. As of now, yes, would there be manipulation in stock market? There can be, because yes, the loopholes are really shut down and things are very tight, but still somebody can find some way or the other. That is there, okay? But what I'm telling you, if you compare the past to the present, in present we have SEBI, SEBI is very powerful. Earlier, when you see in the 1992, the entire web series, you must have seen SEBI. At that time, SEBI was just formed and they had absolutely zero to none powers or any influence. Now that situation is not the same for SEBI. SEBI is now very powerful because of regulatory authorities like NSDL, CDSL, NSE, BSE, RBI, Ministry of Finance, SEBI. Trust me, stock market is the least probable place where you will see manipulations of a very large scale. Why? Because of these regulatory bodies. So point number 2, past manipulation used to happen. Your parents might think that market's not good for you, market's a gamble. But as of now, that is not the situation. Everything has been very cleaned out and there is no industry where there is zero manipulation. Tick. Now let's come to the point number 3. Now the point number 3 is that when you see the web series, you will see that Harshad Mehta was against a clan, right? जिनको हम bear operators भी movie में इनको बोला गया, ठीक है? And again, supposedly so, the writers and producers have not said it, but everyone is contemplating that there is Rakesh Jhunjhunwala in it, there's Mannu Manik in it, there's R.K. Damani in it, right? Again, the producer and the show have not said it. This is what we are assuming. अब बात करते हैं, let's assume कि जो हम assume कर रहे हैं, that's true, ठीक है? Now you see this video, okay? I had given a video on the worst stock market interview ever, wherein Prabhu Chawla was interviewing Rakesh Jhunjhunwala, and the interview was really bizarre. Okay, so I made a video on it, and this video had about 10,000 views in it. For me and my channel, that's a very good rate. But this video had around 7 to 8,000, 10,000 views in it. But just from the last week, this video from 10,000 views has jumped up to 55,000 views. Why is that? Right? And you see, open that video after this video and you see the comment section, people are abusing. Abbe tu kaun hai? Why the hell are you saving Rakesh Jhunjhunwala? Rakesh Jhunjhunwala chor hai. He's a manipulator. He ruined Harshad Mehta. He did this. He did that. Right? And I can't do but laugh all these things. Ab logically socho, are you so emotionally weak? सबसे पहली चीज, if yes, the entire web series were made from a Harshad Mehta point of view, where his family was shown, right, where his personal identity was shown. He as a person was shown. That is why you are emotionally connected to Harshad Mehta and you feel bad for him and you think Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is a villain. Right? I'm just assuming if all the assumptions are correct. अगर सब बोल रहे हैं वो राकेश झुंझुनवाला ही है वेब सीरीज में, so let's assume that. ठीक है? He is the villain. Are you serious? यार, if you're so emotionally weak, no, then leave stock market because stock market is not a place for you. If you can be emotionally swayed just by a film. Now, let me tell you, on the other hand, if suppose I make a movie on Rakesh Jhunjhunwala where I show Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's family, I show Rakesh Jhunjhunwala's personal side, I show that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala was in a clan and they used to do normal things and they used to were working in the normal capacity. There came a man, Harshad Mehta, who manipulated the markets, who used that system which was going on, and he overused that system to over-manipulate things. And Rakesh and the entire clan were near zero. I'm just quoting as per what people are assuming. Okay? And his family is sad, and background music is playing around that family. Then who's the villain? Then you would say Harshad Mehta is the villain. Buddy, there is no villain. Sabse pehli cheez, we don't know the facts. If you're thinking that web series is completely accurate, come on, are you kidding me? It's not, right? It's also based on some source and that source also cannot be accurate. It might be close to that, but you cannot say for 100% that it is completely accurate. Nobody knows about it. The true figures, the true idea, no one knows about it. Now, why are you saying that Rakesh Jhunjhunwala is a villain and people are treating R.K. Damani as a villain? Why? Why? Because in that film you see Harshad Mehta's family suffering. In the other hand, if you see their family suffering, then Harshad Mehta would be the villain. So stop thinking like this. Stop getting into ridiculous politics that this person was a bear operator, he was a bull operator, he did this, oh my god. Are you please, don't. I want you to put your attention in stock markets, not in stupid politics, because no one knows what happened there. Right? Again, I'm not saying that Harshad Mehta is a villain. I'm not saying that. Why? If you think logically, now think very logically. Harshad Mehta was wrong. He did manipulate the markets. He did manipulate the system. He took advantage of that system. Right? But he became a scapegoat. A lot of other people should have had been punished with Harshad Mehta. Harshad Mehta alone did not do anything. Harshad Mehta was alone, he did not do anything. He became a scapegoat. I agree. He was wrong, but he was not to be blamed for the entire system. Who's right, who's wrong depends on your perception. So, सबसे पहली चीज ये, I know it, I'm not comparing past to the present here, but this is something I really wanted to put out there. ठीक है? That don't villainize anyone. Don't think that that person is a villain. Nobody's a villain. It's the situation is like that. Right or wrong is just the way you look at it. Okay? Now coming to the fourth point, and which is the most crucial point. What's the most crucial point? Did you realize what happened? Why did the markets go up? I want you to focus on this web series like an investor. You want to do it for entertainment, that's okay, but focus like an investor. What happened? You know what happened? Why did the markets go up at that time? How did Harshad Mehta manage to take the markets up that time? Socho. What's the answer? It's a one-word answer. What's the answer? The answer, my friend, is liquidity. Yes, liquidity. What is liquidity? Liquidity is surplus of cash. Liquidity is cash in the markets. Liquidity is the money flow in the markets. The markets shot up so much that Harshad Mehta could take the markets up so much. He was known as the big bull. Why is that? Because when he used to borrow funds and source money from the banks, he used to put that in stock markets. He used to borrow and source heavy amounts from the bank. Now you know what happened in the web series itself, so I'm not explaining that, right? And that money he used to put in the markets. Ab jab markets mein itna sara paisa aa gaya hai, the demand will be much higher than the supply. Logically socho, demand of the stocks in demand will be much higher than the supply. Then obviously the share price will keep on rising. And Harshad Mehta kept on bringing in liquidity in the markets, because of which the markets kept on shorting up. That's it. The markets kept on outperforming. The markets kept on rallying up. This is what happened. True. I am saying this, and I'm going to repeat this sentence 2 times because I want you to understand this very carefully. Liquidity in stock markets supersedes technical analysis, fundamental analysis, emotion, or logic. Liquidity in stock markets supersedes technical analysis, fundamental analysis, emotion, or logic. If the markets are given liquidity, if liquidity is put in stock markets, markets will do well no matter what. जैसे when you give an athlete a steroid, he can run to, I don't know, tirelessly for hours and hours, right? And he can outperform all the other athletes. Liquidity is a steroid for stock markets. You give stock market liquidity and the markets will outperform like anything. Why? Because whenever the demand is higher than the supply, the markets will always go up. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, if you don't know how will the demand supply affect the share prices, if you're that one, then no issues. I had given a YouTube video wherein I had given understand the basics of stock market, a 2-hour session, right? In that first half itself, I've explained how do the share prices move. So please be sure to watch that after this video again, right? So that your concepts are clear, and that video is extremely important for you, my friend. So that even if you are in the stock markets, invest those 2 hours, you will not regret it, into the video, so that all your there are no loopholes in your knowledge, basically. Okay? Okay, now we were talking about liquidity. Harshad Mehta had liquidity. Now, when in 1992, when did the market start correcting? The market started correcting when Harshad Mehta could not continue that liquidity. When Harshad Mehta could not continue that liquidity. Why? Because he could not source more money from the banks. He could not borrow more money for the banks to put in stock markets. That is when the markets corrected. Okay, now this is what happened in the past. Now this is what I want you to focus in the present. Why are the markets going up right now? If you see the economy, it's in a bad situation. If you see industries, they are in horrible situations. If you see the Indian GDP, it's horrible. But still the markets are going up. Why? Liquidity. As of now, the entire world government and the entire world markets have been giving stimulus packages. The Indian markets have been giving stimulus packages. What is stimulus package? What is quantitative easing? Stimulus package and quantitative easing is when government provides for liquidity. I had made a video on that. Just Google, YouTube, what is stimulus package or what is quantitative easing. Harsh Goela likh dena so that my video pops up and you will understand what liquidity is. Sorry, what quantitative easing and stimulus packages is. What Harshad Mehta was doing, the same thing, again, he was doing it by an illegal source. Right? Manipulated source. What is the government doing? The government again brings in liquidity into stock markets so that stock markets don't crash. Right? By stimulus packages, by quantitative easing, by rainfall money. If you see in the world markets, as of now, in 2020, the world markets have got a stimulus package, let's call it liquidity. The world economy, the world stock markets, the world markets have got a liquidity push, stimulus package I mean, but let's say liquidity push of $4 trillion. That is why the markets are going up. Because liquidity in stock markets will supersede fundamentals, technicals, emotion or any logic. It's a steroid for stock markets. In Indian markets, the Narendra Modi government gave a stimulus package, a liquidity push to Indian stock markets of 20 lakh crores. 20 lakh crore rupees. And more importantly, all of this is practically at 0% interest rate. Technically, it's all free money. 0% interest rate. Then of course the markets will go up. Okay. Now again, let's learn from the past. On 22nd April 1992, markets touched a peak. When I say markets, I mean Sensex. In 22nd April 1992, markets Sensex touched a peak of 4,467 points. Cool. Then after 8 years, in January 2000, the peak was at 6,151 points Sensex. 8 years gap. Then again from 1992 to 2000, then from 2000, the next peak was in 2008, again at a difference of 8 years. And that peak was in January 2008 of 21,206 points. So are you seeing the peaks are in gaps of 8 years after which the market corrects? But tell me this, have the markets corrected after 2008? Corrected is not the right word. Have the markets ever crashed after 2008? They have not. They have not gone through the bear run. If you technically, logically see, if you open the Sensex graph in the long term, as you can see, I'll try to put the picture here, right? As you can see here, we are in the longest bull run yet. Since the 2008, we recovered from the 2008 bear run. After that, we have been in the longest bull run. Technically, if the gap was 8 years, then technically the entire stock market cycle completes in about 7 to 8 years, right? So there's no fixed rule that itne saal mein hoga. It's estimate. Now the stock markets according to this, should have corrected in 2016, right? The next peak should be in 2016, 1992. Then it corrected in 2000, right? Then it corrected in 2008, 8 years gap. Now again, it should be in 2016. And in 2016, markets, if you open the graph, again corrected. But this started going up. Why? Because government gave it a liquidity push. In 2020, the COVID-19 situation, remember when the markets just crashed? Then the markets are now again right now they're at 40,000, 40,800 points, something like this. I'm talking about Sensex. How is the economy doing well? No. Are the companies earning massive profits? No. It's because of the liquidity. Liquidity in stock markets supersedes fundamentals, technicals, your emotions, and any kind of logic. This is what the fact is. Now people ask me, Harsh, till when do you think the markets will go up? Till when do you think the markets will continue to go up? My friend, like the answer was during Harshad Mehta time in 1992, the answer is same today. The markets will continue to go up until the liquidity dries up. And yes, liquidity will dry up at some point of time. How will the liquidity dry up? Khud socho. Again, I'm explaining you, it might seem complicated to you, but it's extremely simple. Right? Extremely simple. When there is such high liquidity in the economy, there's so many people have so much money in the economy, okay? What will happen? What's going to be the effect of this? Remember this, in economics, economics is the simplest thing you can understand, by the way. In economics, there are always pros and cons. Always there are pros and cons. If this happens, then this will happen. If that happens, then this will happen. Always. What will happen in this situation? If the liquidity continues to increase, at one point there will be massive inflation. There will be massive inflation wherein the liquidity will dry up, right? Now this video is getting really long. If you want to understand, sir, how will liquidity affect the massive inflation and what is that, and if you want to make if you want me to make a video on simple economics and how things happen, then definitely write in the comment section below. I will be more than happy to make a video on that, right? So in conclusion, I've written this and it's very cool, is that what we learn from history is that we never learn from history. Try your best to change the history by learning history. See what I did there? See what I did there? Okay. What we learn from history is that we never learn from the history. Try your best to change history by learning from history. What we learn from history is that we never learn from history. Try your level best to change the history so that you can learn from the history. Yeah, this is actually what truth is. Markets will continue to do the same thing again and again. So don't get into the politics. Achha, what happened? Who's the villain? Who's the bad guy? No. Try to find out the real reason. Right? So conclude the entire video. There are 4 points. First, how were markets technologically before and how are they now? Second, what was the second point? I forgot the second point. Second, yes, earlier the people used to consider it to manipulation. Now what is the situation? Third is that don't villainize or make anyone a hero. There's no place for that. And right and wrong is very subjective. And fourth is the liquidity, what you should learn from that. Right? So yes, in conclusion, I hope you liked it. I genuinely am telling you, as a viewer, as an investor, I genuinely enjoyed that series very, very much. And what my humble request to you would be is that, first, I would definitely advise you to watch it. Second, don't pirate it. Don't watch the pirated copy. Don't download it from the internet for free. Don't get your friend's ID to do. Don't do that. Again, you will do that, but don't do that, because I always buy, whenever I want something, I buy it. Why is that? Because that person, those actors, that script writer, the entire setup, just imagine how many people worked, how many hours, did how many levels of shooting, did how many hours of brainstorming, and to create that series and put that on a series. And they deserve that we pay the subscription cost. So I feel that if you pirate that entire series and you watch it, it's a disrespect to them. And I don't think that's any logic. Again, it's completely your choice, but what I would strongly suggest, don't pirate it and watch it. Genuinely buy it. If you buy it, I think it's I bought 300 rupees a month subscription. I only bought a month subscription because I only want to see that. So buy it. Don't borrow it from your friends. Don't download it. But yes, Buy it, 300 not a big amount, and watch it. It is genuinely amazing, right? And try to learn from it, and don't villainize everyone. Don't emotionally get swayed here or there. Right? Well, that was it for today. If you want more interesting content like this, if you want more interesting topics like this, then join our email community where we send you value mails. The link is in the description below. I'll see you next time. This is Harshad Goela, financially empowering you.